Hi everybody, and welcome to AP Lazer Workshop. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday. I'm glad to see everybody back here today. I know we've been on a little bit of a hiatus the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Hi, everybody. Sorry. Wouldn't be a Friday workshop without some technical difficulties there. So glad to see everybody back here. I know it's been a little while since we've had a workshop. I know we've got a lot going on, or we've had a lot going on. Basically what we're going to be doing today, we're going to dive into things, is we're going to be talking about bricks and setting up files for bricks. Now, when it comes to doing bricks, the file setup is actually relatively simple. There's basically one or two ways that we're going to set up the file. And the most important part when you're doing bricks is finding the right brick, okay? And depending on the type of brick that you have or that you're able to get your hands on is the way that we're going to set up the file. So what I've actually got here, I'm going to switch over. I've got a couple bricks right here. So these are probably the three most popular types of bricks that you're going to find. So this one here is a nice clay brick. This one here is what's going to give you the best results. This one here is just a paver brick. This is something I picked up at Home Depot. And then what we have here is we have a fire brick. So these all, you can tell by just looking at them that they're a little bit different here, okay? And I've got them kind of laid out in order of what I would probably recommend using first. A nice laser brick, you can pick this up from a website called Laser Sketch. They sell these in bulk orders, individuals, small, large, any kind of size that you're looking for. And again, this one here I picked up at Home Depot. This one cost me probably 68 cents, not very much. And then this one here I believe we picked up at Lowe's for right around the same price, about 68 to 80 cents there. So what we're going to kind of do is we're going to run a sample on each one of these bricks. We're going to use the same file. We're going to use the same speed and power settings. And really what I want to do is I want to showcase how these bricks all interact a little bit differently here. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump in and we're going to start working in CorelDRAW here. So I've got my CorelDRAW opened up, and I'm going to come here to start a new document. All right. We'll just go ahead and call this bricks, and I'm going to go ahead and set up my working area. We'll do 7 1/4 by 3, and use a resolution DPI of 300, and we're going to go ahead and hit OK. All right, so here's my working area here, which is basically the size of my brick. So I'm going to come over here to my text tool. My text over here, just drop anywhere in here, and we're just going to spell out Jason. I'm going to come over to the left. I'm going to grab my pick tool, and I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger here. And then I'm going to go ahead and copy this text. So I'm going to hold my left mouse key, I'm going to slide this down, and I'm going to tap my right key. All right, I'm going to come down here. Now, when you're doing bricks, I find that using a nice big bold font works the best. So we're going to come up to the top here on our fonts, and I'm going to stay with an Arial, but I'm just going to switch it to a bold. I'm going to do the same thing on this one here. Make these just a little bit bigger here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and select everything here, and I'm going to basically just turn this into a wireframe. So I can do that by coming over to my properties with my text tab and add in a hairline here and a no fill. Or if I come up to view, I can switch it right here to a wireframe like so. So this one here, this top one, we're going to leave just as a simple vector file unfilled. But this bottom one here, we're going to do what's called a contour cut, okay? So basically, I'm going to have a bunch of lines that come inside all the way to the middle here. So this top one here, we're going to run as just a straight engrave, and this bottom one here, we're actually going to set up to do multiple cuts, and it's going to cut its way to the middle. So with this bottom one selected here, I'm going to go ahead and grab my contour tool, and we're going to go up to Window, down to Dockers, and we're going to find our contour here. There's my contour. There it is, Effects, Contour. All right. So in our contour section here, up at the top, we have a few different sections. We've got to do an outside, an inside, or to center. Okay, so I'm going to do to center. And you can see once I select this that my steps go away. That's going to self-adjust based off the size of my text. And then I've got my offset, which is just the lines or the spacing between each one of those lines. Let's do maybe a 0.007 on this. And we'll go ahead and scroll down and do apply. So you can see how that's kind of filled that in, but if we zoom in, we can now see all these lines going through. And again, it kind of self-adjusted on our steps down to 8, saying that that's how many steps we can get based off that offset and the size of our text here. So let's go ahead and select everything here, and we're going to go ahead and File and Export. Go ahead and put this on our desktop. And we're going to do a Save As type as a DXF AutoCAD. And we'll go ahead and hit Export. All right, our version here, we're going to do an R14. Export units as inches. Text always as curves, never as text. Please remember, once we send text out, it is no longer text. It is actually an object now. And then export bitmap as BMP, filled, unfilled, doesn't really matter. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. So let's go ahead and open up our RDWorks here. And let's import in our images. Look on our desktop. There's our bricks there. All right. So you can see over on our right-hand side that based off of our contour, how it's added in all these extra layers here. Okay. We don't all need these to cut at a different speed or power setting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my contour here, and I'm just going to assign it one color. So what we have is we have our black layer here, which is just our simple vector image. And then we've got our cut, which is going to be our contour cut here. So what I'm going to go ahead and start adjusting my speed and power settings here. So when you're doing bricks, power is really important, okay? We need to be able to hit it with enough power in order to really get any kind of depth on the brick. But also what we're doing, and you'll kind of see with this nice clay brick, is it's going to be turning the sand content basically into glass and backfilling that, okay? So and that's going to be this one right here. If you go too high a power when you're doing the engraving, what can happen is you can leave like a white residue on the top of it, which is essentially just oxygen coming out, okay? A little wire brush, you can scrub that down and it'll shine right out. But we're going to go ahead and knock this power down. I'm going to do, actually we're going to do a 90 power. We've got a nice interval here, and we were going to go a little bit slower, so we're going to we'll do a 3 speed here, and I'm going to hit OK. So next I want to go ahead and adjust my cut. Make sure that output is set to yes. Now on my cut, I'm going to go a little bit slower. We're going to use a 2 speed, and we're going to drop this power down to a 95. Actually, we'll go ahead and do a 90, keep it about the same. And I'm going to drop this down or up a little bit, so we're going to make 93. We always just want a little bit of a variance when we're doing cuts just for as the laser is curving around. We just want to drop that power a little bit. So typically when I'm doing any kind of cuts, whether that's vector or a contour cut or just normally cutting anything out, I go anywhere from 2 to 5 in between like a difference on those numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. We've got our laser origin set for center. That should work just fine. Everything's on. So let's go ahead and download this over to our machine. All right. So I think the first thing we're going to do, let's go ahead and start with the nice clay brick here. Grab my brick and we'll jump over and meet you at the machine. Okay, so here's our brick here. What I like to do when I'm trying to find the center of this is I'm just going to take a little piece of masking tape here. And I'm going to just stick kind of in the center here. Now my pen seems to have rolled away, so let me grab another one of these real quick. All right, so when I'm finding the center here, what I like to do is I just kind of come from corner to corner here. So I'm going to take my ruler, just line up on each corners, and we'll draw a line there. Back over to the other side. And there we go there. So our X here is going to be the center of our brick. Go ahead and put this in. Now, when I'm doing brickwork, I prefer to use a 3-inch lens. What that does gives you a little bit bigger of a dot size, a little bit more tolerance when you come out of focus. Escape. Let's go ahead and check our focus. Next, we're going to make sure that we're lined up straight. So I'm going to bring my laser head down here to the bottom. This one's got a little bit of a bevel, so I'm just going to keep it on the inside of the bevel, just running that back and forth to make sure that I'm straight. All right, we're going to come to our center mark here. I'm going to origin it, go ahead and frame out. So we're not doing anything really big today. So I'm going to go ahead and peel my tape off now. And close our lid. Make sure our exhaust is on. And we'll go ahead and hit start here. Okay, while that's our first sample's running, jump back over here to our computer here. Now, when you're looking at bricks, the different type of bricks, and just to kind of explain a little bit more of why some bricks work better than others, okay? If we take a look at the remaining 2 bricks here, I want to point out a couple things to keep an eye out for. So, normally it's kind of hard to see in the video, but I have a lot of air pockets in both of these. So oftentimes when you're doing some kind of cut, what can happen is you can hit these air pockets like so, and you're just going to blow it out. Chunks are going to come out, it's going to mess up your tacks and things like that. What I always would recommend is doing a test kind of similar to what I'm doing now. If you get a brick, just type out a simple name like so, and then run one right on top of the other one. So I know we're kind of moving a little bit quick today. Like I said, file setup for this is actually relatively simple. It's going to be one or the other here. But if anybody's got any questions, please go ahead and type it in the chat, and I'll see what I can't do about getting that answered for you. All right. Moving along nicely here. Actually, while that one's going ahead and running, I'm going to go ahead and grab my tape, and I'm going to get these other two ready to go. And you can kind of see we've moved on to that contour now. You can see it just working, moving itself around. Oh, Frank, I did not see your question. No, sir. Oh, actually, I did just see it. I apologize there, Frank. So you're asking if the bricks can be done with the 1812. I would say you could probably get if you've got a clay brick, you could probably get away with a nice clay brick. Doing these harder ones like the pavers and things like that, where you need a lot of power, and in order to cut it to kind of dig into it, you may not be able to get the look that you're trying to get. All right, that one there is done. Let's go ahead and grab that out. Take my brick with me. All right, so I'm going to grab this one out. I'm going to do the same thing on our paver now. So we're going to kind of measure out, find center. All right, now this one is a little bit thinner than the other one we had there. And where did my focus stick go? Apparently I am losing everything today. Let me grab my other one. All right. Now that I've found my other one, now if anybody has this issue like I do where I'm losing these focus sticks, do yourself a favor, get a little bit of adhesive magnet, put on the back end of it, and then you can stick it right to your machine. Also, not making them clear helps as well. So we're going to check our focus on this. All right. Make sure that we're straight here. And again, this one's got a little bit of a bevel, so I'm just going to stay on the inside of that bevel. So I'm going to actually come down this one here, kind of bevel is a little bit off the top there, so I'm going to actually come down to that bottom line there. That looks better. All right, peel my tape off. I'm going to go ahead and shut my door. And we'll go ahead and hit start. Again, I'm not going to change any speed and power settings. Just the same ones over again. I actually grab some paper towel here. Okay, so let's take a look at our clay brick while our paver's running there. Okay, so we can kind of see here how we got some really nice results off of both this. So we've got our engrave on the top, looks really nice, and then we've got our contour right there in the bottom. Contour does pop out just a little bit more than an engraving. And also did not take very long either. So we'll give this our paver brick a little bit more time. And then we'll kind of compare results to that, why our fire brick is running next. I've got a question coming in here. Andrew's just joining us. Want to know what was doing for settings, and if I'm using an air assist. I'm not quite sure what you mean about settings, Andrew. If you're talking about like our speed and power. So we're running it very similar speed and powers. Our scan, we're running it at 3-speed, 90 power with a 300 DPI setting. And our cut, we're running it at a 2-speed, 93 max power and 90 power. As far as the air assist question goes, yes, always run your machine with the air assist. Never run it without. What you can do if you run your laser without your air assist is that air assist is there to do 2 things. A, it's there to pump air through, so it tries to push some of that smoke residue and things away from your lens, and it also adds in a little bit of a cooling element to it as well. There's a lot of power going through that lens. So if that air assist is not going, you can smoke up your lens very easily and damage it. Or what you're going to end up doing is that's going to bake on there, that residue, and then the laser can't pass through cleanly enough, and it's going to actually shatter your lens, and I have seen that happen right inside of your extension tube. Oh, Frank, I missed you too, sir. So again, we got a lot of really exciting things coming down the pipeline. And as always, if you guys have questions about this process, any of my other processes that we have on here, please feel free to give me a call, shoot me an email, anything like that. All right. Our paver is done. Let's go take a look. This guy out and grab my fire brick here. Lower down our Z table. Bit more. All right. Shut our door and go ahead and hit start again. Again, no change speed, power, or anything like that. It's running. I'm going to wipe our paver off here. All right, now let's take a look at the comparison differences between these two here. So again, we got our nice clay brick down here. Things are really popping out, but look at our paver now. Okay, let's move this around and bring this up a little bit closer here. You can really see, you know, we didn't have the sand content like we did in our clay brick. So we're not really getting that black look at it. This kind of really dull, kind of grayish color to it. There is a little bit of depth there that I can fill. So that's the other example there. Now, after we get our last brick ran, I'm actually going to show you guys some things if you're working with pavers like this or you're working with one of the fire bricks, on just some tips and tricks that you can use to help these come out a little bit better. Kind of shift those around. Looks like we're getting ready to finish up with our engraving part. Oh, okay, Andrew, you're asking about the PSI on the air that I'm using. So I'm using just our standard air assist that comes with the machine. I believe this is only pushing out probably right around 5 PSIs. Now, I have in the past, and I know lots of customers that are doing things like this that want to hook up an external air compressor to this, and that is absolutely doable, okay? You just want to make sure that I would probably keep that PSI within 10 to 15 PSI, 15 being honestly a little bit too high, but I would not go max above that. All right, moved on to our cut here. And you can really see by that light being produced by the beam as it hits that brick that you can really tell we're hitting this with a lot of power here. Okay, this one's finished up. Let's go take a look. Wipe this off real quick. All right, let's take a look at this one now. So this one here, you can see it's a little bit darker than what this paver was here, okay? This one's probably got a little bit more sand content in it, and we can see a lot of similarities between the engraving and the contour, but in this aspect here, the contour gave us a lot better of a look to it, okay? So this is a prime example, and again, same speed, power settings, same file, everything, but we can see the different results that we're getting here. Now, if you're working with certain bricks, like say this paver here, go ahead and move these guys around, and you're really looking to get that black look out of it, okay? Maybe this is something the customer provided, or whatever the case may be. Now, I've been playing around a lot with a product called Peel Tech. Make sure you guys can see that. And basically what this is a liquid mask, okay? What's nice about this is that this is going to adhere and stick right to this brick. And I've got a little bit of an example here of where I would use this. So here's an image I was playing around today with. I didn't engrave the whole thing. We started running a little bit out of time here. But this is with the liquid mask. And what I actually did is I coated this with some Flex Seal, okay? Nothing special. If you got some litho paint or something like that, you can use the same thing. But basically, once this mask hardens, okay, it's going to turn into a rubber like so. That's going to allow me to peel all this stuff off. I can avoid runs and everything. And you can see how easy it is just to kind of peel off there. Now, one reason that I did use the Flex Seal here is because this is a little bit of a paver, so it's going to give us very similar results to this. We can see it's pretty much the same type of material here. So this Flex Seal is actually getting into these little tiny pores in here and kind of adding in a little bit of a sealer here. If you're in one of the colder states like up here in Michigan where we have to worry about rain and ice and things freezing, when we're exposing this stone and moisture gets down here and may freeze, that's going to crack and damage the stone, okay? So this liquid mask really helps because masking tape is not going to stick to this at all. And then you can just kind of rub your finger like so and really just peel it off. A little bit easier to use than normal masking tape. Now I have been playing around a little bit with this on some other material, and I've got some stuff ordered to try out as well to give you guys a little bit better recommendations here. You can kind of see how that kind of really makes that stand out there. Don't worry about cleaning all of it off. Get a little bit more off. Just like so. All right. So I got Frank here asking, what is a decent price to charge for pavers? Honestly, I think it really just depends on what you're doing, the quantity you're doing. I know a lot of people sell these for, $20 to $30 each. Pricing is something everybody's kind of got to work out based on the region that they're in. And again, if you're doing bulk, if you're doing a whole memorial wall and you've got 500 bricks, maybe you're able to give a little bit better price than, say, maybe a school fundraiser where you're only doing, 5 to 10. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this open for a little bit longer just to see if anybody else has any questions here. Comments, need me to go backtrack over everything. Like I said, the final setup for this is pretty simple, okay? One or the two, either we're doing that contour cut or we're doing the straight engraving. And again, if you get a brick, I would recommend setting up a file very similar to this and just running a test on it just to see if you need to go with something like a liquid mask and a paint, or if you could just engrave the brick straight on. All right. Again, I'll leave this open probably another minute or two, just to see if anybody else has any more questions here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Again, I'm super happy to see everybody back here today, and I apologize about the long hiatus. I've actually been out in Las Vegas at our office there for the last couple weeks, training a new technician who's going to be one of our trainers. Very great guy. His name is Chris Hamawi. I'm really happy to have him aboard our team, especially in our training. He's going to be starting to do some of his own trainings here pretty soon, in the next couple weeks, hopefully. Really great guy, really nice, very personable, and very knowledgeable. All right, if we don't have any more questions, I'm going to let you guys get back to your lasering or just being lazy and enjoying this nice summer weather. So until next week, I hope everybody has a wonderful Friday and have a better weekend. Bye, everybody.